Well, I hate endings. I mean, it's artificial. It's fake. Life goes on. Like a lot of endings you see in video games. They stink.
Before you judge anybody, look at yourself in the mirror. I mean, honestly, look. That's what you've got to deal with first.
So now we're all in this paradise or whatever, and I'm so happy for her. But there comes a time when you have to fulfill your own needs.
Well, if there's a sequel, I honestly don't know if I'm going to do it.
Now that Iari's turned into a tree, I'm pretty much on my own.
For as long as I've known her, I've treated Sangarul very poorly. I said many things that I now regret. And a lot of it had to do with my own issues.
There's work piling up, but I'm not feeling all that motivated. To be honest with you, I'm a little depressed.
Now, back in the day, I was possessed by the demon of darkness. He was a class act. He knew how to have a good time and enjoy himself.
Crobolus was dead, and for a long time, I didn't know what to do with myself.
Maya was all about Maya, and I enabled her. I enabled that behavior.
I mean, you waste years of your life thinking about revenge, and then it's all over. And you're like, well, what's the big deal? I mean, what was I so worked up about?
My relationship with Torgus is a perfect example. That bitch was tearing us apart.
I miss Iari. They say you get used to it, but you don't. It's lonely. It's very, very lonely.
Well, I've done my time. I've done my time. I got screwed in the first one, and I got screwed in this one. So they can just all go to hell.
I'm back on Teomouran now. We'll be opening a resort here. It's a beautiful beach. People love the dragons. We're going to have dinner theatre, some sailboats. It's going to be really nice. You should come by.
I never played Summoner, but I did play Red Faction. And my favorite part in that game is the moment where Hendrix and Parker meet face to face for the very first time.
My last job was in automotive. We sold discount parts for German and Japanese manufacturers.
I used to be a freelance designer of elevator restrictor systems.
I needed a change. I needed to pursue my dreams.
I think that moment spoke to me because our relationships are mediated and digitized through cell phones and email and internet. There's no intimacy, there's no connection.
The Sumner guys did this comedy routine where they were playing a fantasy role-playing game. It really cracked a lot of people up.
Now, you might not be familiar with restrictors because they work only when there's an emergency.
Yes, I was supposed to play the role of Dr. Capek in the original Red Faction, but the gentleman playing Yago suffered a cerebral aneurysm and needed surgery. So I ended up on Summoner instead.
An elevator restrictor keeps people inside the elevator when it breaks down, so they don't open the door, fall out, and die.
So, when I got hired to play the part of Morbizon, I was thrilled. You know, like it was my turn to make people laugh now. But it didn't happen.
The man made a full recovery, by the way. God bless him, but now I'm stuck in this dead-end role.
So I got on the bus, went out to Illinois, and knocked on the door of Volition Incorporated and said, "Here I am."
They were like, well, if we can't be funny like the first one, we're not even gonna try.
In Red Faction, there's this real sense of communion, and I don't think video games do that often enough.
Now, Brian Farrell, he's the head honcho over there at THQ. He promised me a good part in Red Faction 2.
The first lesson I learned in my own recovery is that you don't give up. You take it one day at a time, and you don't give up.
A villain with a bazooka and some sharp knives. Yes, we'll see. I'm not holding my breath.
Now, don't get me wrong, elevators are very safe, but you want to have systems in place that will keep people from getting hurt.
I paid my dues. I plunged toilets and washed dishes and made coffee. Because these people are basically mama's boys who can't do a bloody thing for themselves.
I can only hope that Summoner 2 will speak to people in the same way.